So welcome everyone. Once again, this is Kevin from CSMI in Australia today. Going to share another video on the lattice boom crawler crane. So as usual, thank you for your question and comments. You can leave them below or you can email us at info@csmi.com.au. Well, it's a bit rainy today in Perth and it's a bit cloudy. It's nearly 5 p.m. So I'll just share the weather with you guys before we get into this video. So let's get straight into it. All right, so I forgot which part of the video this is, but I'm going to put that in the description below. So if you missed the previous ones, you can have a look into it. So this video is only going to be about the upper car body. So let's get straight into it. Now on this side, which is the cab side of the crane, you got a battery cabin where you can put your battery. I just got a 5,000 milliamp battery, but you can go up to 15,000. There's plenty of space in there. Here's you got the hydraulic power pack here. I'm just going to bring it closer so you can see. And in this, you got a little gauge glass. You got a pressure gauge. You got a pressure reducing valve. I had level on the gauge, but no oil in the tank. And then I filled it up and seems to have worked perfectly fine. Let's go further. The cab for the crane driver, that's operated by a motor up here, and it comes in the storage position. You flick a switch on the radio and then the cab will come into the operating position. So that's controlled by a motor. Now the interesting thing is they've provided us with or provided every model with a securing plate, and this is only there to provide stability for the storage of the screen when it's getting transported. And then it's got 4 screws and you can actually take it out. So that's pretty smart that they have provided something. Otherwise it's very easy to break this connection. Going further, you got 2 locking hydraulic cylinders, and these cylinders are for the tracks to hold them in position. Go further, you got 4 outriggers, 2 cylinders on either side, and that hoists the crane up while they put the tracks, and then you can lock the pins through the radio, and that secures the tracks in location. Let's go into a bit more detail what we got here. So in the start, you got a power switch up here. You got some circuitry that controls the relay and the power through a low voltage circuitry to switch it on and off. You got 2 winches. The 2 winches have got brakes on them, which is very interesting. They got a spring-loaded shoe for the outrunner, and then you got a servo. And the moment you release the joystick, the servo will actually slow down the outrun of the motor, which will then slow down the winch. We'll see that functionality as we go deeper into it. Very interesting is it looks like, I'm not very sure, but a servo not sound module. You got a volume control up here, and increase and decrease the volume. Go a bit further, what do we have inside this door? So up here you got the 3 solenoid valves or the 3 servos for the hydraulics. And then you got all the connections here for the tracks and blah, blah, blah. All those bits, all the electronic connections for the various motors are up here. First 3 might be for the winches and the last 2 might be for tracks or vice versa. But that's what those connections are. And then you have another winch at the back. You got a speaker. Going back, this is the front view. And this is what it looks like. You got the winch up here. You got the pivoting points for the boom, for the A-frame. You got functional lights up here. And then you got functional working lights on top of the cab. That's pretty much it. The outriggers over here, there's 4 of them, 2 on either side. They have their own feet to hoist the crane so that you can mount the tracks and then lock it with these hydraulic pins over here. There's 2 of them on this side and there's 2 at the back. So that's pretty much what we have. This is the rear section, and this particular winch gets connected to the bridle, that gets connected to the straps, that gets connected to the lattice boom itself, and then the bridle goes on through the sheaves up here, and this pivots over there, has the angle of the boom changes. So that's pretty much what we have on the upper car body. I'll give you a bit of a top view on this before I start mounting the other bits on the top. The only thing what I found is there's got to be some kind of magnet or locking mechanism. Otherwise, this thing keeps flopping every time. It doesn't secure itself. I'm not sure if you put the battery on, if it actually stays secured on. So let's have a look a little bit on the top, what it looks like. That's the top view. Now, I didn't point out this, and I left it open so I could share this. This is just a plastic cap or a shroud that actually comes out, and it has an air breather, and that's the fill cap for putting the oil in. That's what it's for. Pretty big model by size, and this is the plate I mentioned earlier that's used for securing the cab in transportation, so it doesn't flop around and it doesn't snap off. That's what it's for. So there we go. That's all we have as usual. If you have any question or comments, leave them below, or you can email us at info@csmi.com.au. And thank you for watching.